I was worthy at last. I thought back. How it all started. How did it all start? Well, I could remember now. Because now a blackout had been removed. I no longer needed it. I no longer needed a band-aid, as it were, displacing the real cause of my affliction, making me live within here, blocking me, narrowed down in four walls, shriveled straight up and down like a stamped-out cockroach between the walls that had moved in. But now they moved apart. I remember the family silver. Yes, I'd written a letter to the editor, the Brighton and Hove newspaper, telling how my great-grandfather owned this building, this area, bought it, and I was back to claim the silver, the family silver. Princes. I heard the words echo in my mind. I was a QC once. I came up from South Town, down under, Tasmania, and my voice had started to... and that's when smoke had arisen and I'd woken up in here, buried alive like the Count of Monte Cristo with a jigsaw puzzle, a game. Bits in my hand, just pieces of 8 pieces. I woke up with... trying to get out, put them together. That's right. I remembered now, that was it. I came back to claim my estate, and it had been filtered out and frittered away by powers that had operated on me and created the idea and taken each day. Yes, as I sat here liberated, I looked up and saw all the portraits. There was the one, von Heydrich, the black sheep of the family, the uncle, my uncle. Yes, next to the series of Magdalene and, of course, Red Gold I called her, and Catherine and Magdalene. All the spiritual ancestors. Jesus. I'd been in the vampire's grave. A vampire's grave. Mine. Remember now I'd arrived in Brighton, the plane. That was a band-aid. Imagined it had crashed. It was I imagined. I was a spiritual plane. Of course, like arms out in the crucifix. A jet flying had crashed and my voice had become rasped and grasped as I went up the bay, up the tunnel from the area where I, as a dead pilot, had crashed and resurrected, and like a robot walked forward in the semi-darkness across the water in the bay and arrived under the trapdoor. Yes, and gone up the ladder under Princess the surf. I'd heard it roar and opened the trapdoor and up, and there saw in the floor, the corner, the mirror gold, I called her. Yes, of course, in her I saw Louise and Vera. Of course, her picture, like an anima, a pirate, and went forward and saw the rail, 12:15, had turned it. I went down on my knees. An archbishop had created a shrine, a funeral parlour, flowers in yellow rainbows, and I looked up and saw her Louise in the church window. I remembered now, it struck me like a thunderbolt, a catharsis. I'd come up in Brighton, I'd come up the staircase in King's House in Brighton when I'd arrived. Yes, now, of course, in 1996. 6 or was it 5? Memory was coming back to me now. And, oh God, of course I'd felt like a pilot, a navigator, a radio operator, yes, calling back and remembering and inventing, of course, trying to reconstruct this craft in my mind. Yes, I remembered now. I'd manifested it in my imagination, like Zebra, the dambuster plane that had never been found again. Over 70 years, it must have been. Of course, I was it. I was imagining myself as the rocket, the jet. Of course, fuel. Spermatosis, it was a symbol in alchemy for spirit. I'd written in the diagrams I'd sketched in my unconscious blackout. Woken up in here. I remembered now I'd gone up the stairs, the staircase, and I saw her in the window up there and stumbled and, of course, crashed down the staircase. But it was outside the window. The air, I'd fallen. Imagined a winding down staircase in a clock tower, a steeple, a funeral pyre, and crashed and broken and been dismembered. Woken up in here. Picture of the nun staring down on me. Meet me at the old oak tree.